On this episode of the Silver Alt Podcast with Nate and Ryan
And Victor.
and Victor. Victor, if you're listening to this, I love you, buddy. We were just telling a story about you, and I put on my Russian accent, and I was like, oh, yeah, we got to open up with that. It is late. It is getting at 8. I've been up since 3:30 this morning, and we're tired in the shop and just catching up, trying to get some recordings done. And so you're going to get the raw, unfiltered version of Nate and Ryan tonight.
There it is.
Yeah. No.
We were just discussing some of the abstract shows and movies we've watched in our life.
Yeah. So
Call it abstract.
Yeah, abstract. I don't even really want to promote them, but I've seen them, watched them,
Yeah.
got some chuckles out of them, some good one-liners, so we may throw them in here and throw some one-liners on the videos and stuff. But on a more serious, positive note, we're going to get professional for just a second.
Seriously positive.
Seriously positive. I just got a text on my watch from one of our listeners.
Just now?
Yeah.
Tell him to go to bed.
Go to bed, Will. He says he's listened to every single one of our episodes.
No way.
Every single one.
Dude.
So he's hooked.
Him and my mom. They're the only two.
I'd like to thank my mom. My mom is the number one supporter of the show. Thanks, Mom. But no, he's listened to every single one of them, and
That's
he said
awesome.
he has started running.
Really?
Yeah. And if you know him, he's not really a runner. He says he's been running.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah. So
Inspired.
been getting running. And then I got another text this week from another one of our listeners. He's like, so how do you do a zone 2 run? And I was like, well, in this heat, you don't.
Yeah. Not real sure.
Not real sure, but he was asking
First, you have to wake up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
That's the only time that your heart will stay low.
Yes, because you start low and then you go run and it's cooler outside. It's about near impossible to get a true zone 2 run in this heat. It's hard.
I'm glad that we're talking about this.
Why?
Because that is something that I have struggled with, and like nobody says that. They're just like, oh yeah, go out and run easy. And I'm like, to stay in zone 2, I have to run walk right now.
Yeah.
In the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot go run at noon or any time.
Yep.
Really any time in the day. I could go out at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
I cannot stay in zone 2 unless I might as well be walking. Like a 11-minute, 12-minute.
Yeah.
Which is basically a walk for me.
Yeah, so if you're out there getting after it in this heat, kudos. You're killing it, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But
good job.
yeah, good job. Like seriously, you're going to be so fast when it gets cold. But
I'm just waiting for the day.
I'm just waiting for it, man. I'm so ready. Like, I mean, I've drank at least 1.5 gallons today after that run this morning, and I'm still not caught up.
Yeah.
And I have a run again tomorrow morning.
You can't catch up on hydration.
You can't, but it's like
one of those things you got to prep for.
Yeah, well, you do the morning runs, you're kind of going in slightly dehydrated because you fasted throughout the night.
Yeah.
And then you go and you run and you deplete all that. And then I refuel during my run with Hoist, because I love Hoist. But still, like, when you run for 2 hours, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up.
It is, especially in this heat.
They say that you have to hydrate for 3 days prior to an event to properly prepare your body and the hydration you need.
Yeah.
Which sounds doable.
Yep.
I mean, sounds a little hard, but doable.
Yep.
The issue is if you're doing runs every day.
Yeah.
Like, great. I can drink 3 days in advance, but I'm running those 3 days too.
Mm-hmm.
And then every day after, it's like, well, you never are quite there.
Nope.
That's why we have a taper week before races,
Yep.
when you actually slow down and can hopefully kind of reset your hydration and your food and everything.
Yeah, work out all the kinks and everything else.
Get everything recovered.
Yes. So don't beat yourself up, man. It's okay. Like, it's really hard to hit zone 2 right now. I can get like the first 30 minutes or so I can be in zone 2. But I've also been running consistently for like the last 3 years.
I would say that I'm in that same boat of like, I can do it for a little while, but then after a certain point, if you look at any of my runs, my heart rate chart just slowly ramps up. And then at a certain point, the slow climb turns into a steeper climb.
Yeah. Well, your body just gets saturated with heat. And it can't
you're
cool.
like,
yeah,
crap, I went from zone 2 to zone 4, and now I'm stuck there.
Yeah. But my watch says heat acclimation's 100%.
Yeah, mine said that for like 2 months.
Yeah. So I'm there, but It's just you can't win on this heat.
I will say that after going on my vacation out west and training at some higher altitudes, when I came back, I noticed that my zone 2 was better than it was.
Oh, that's good.
So if you have access to elevation and then you go to, I guess it's the same as like running in the heat and then running in cooler weather.
Sure.
But elevation helps.
Yes, it does.
Helps acclimate it.
Mm-hmm. But, so go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say something else that will help. Or what was his name? Will? He's the one that was struggling with the zone 2? Or
oh, no. That's my other friend. I don't want to like call him
okay,
out.
Yeah. Well, other friend. Try doing other things, like go for a bike ride.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Or if you got a swimming pool that you can swim in, go to the pool and just take it really easy. Like just do slow laps around the bike, do a nice casual bike ride.
Yeah.
If you can go for a hike wherever you are, like go for a hike, things like that you don't necessarily consider like a workout. I mean, maybe you would a bike, but like if you went on a family bike ride, you'll probably be in zone 2-ish for most of that ride with your family. So that's a really good way of doing it without feeling like you're doing a workout and pushing yourself outside of that.
Yeah.
Because if you just go out to do a workout, you're probably going to push it too hard.
Yes.
That was my issue.
Yeah.
I had to really train myself to be slow.
Yeah. No, you have to really be intentional when you're doing those. But another thing I was going to bring up about Will, and I know you're listening, Will. So
yeah, because you listen to all the episodes. Thank you.
Yeah, top fan.
Number one fan.
I wish I could like give you a badge for like top fan, man. That's awesome. But I was working overtime with him up at a station, and I created a workout because I have a new guy up there.
Yeah.
And I love him, but he's a goober. And
a new guy or Will?
No, new guy. New guy's a goober.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's a good dude, but he's a goober. So,
goofy goober.
He's goofy. He's a lot of fun to work with. But he was kind of like, he knows I like to work out and stuff. Yeah. And so I kind of like that kind of follows me. So even when I don't feel like working out, people kind of expect me to work out now.
Oh,
so it's kind of like a blessed curse. Stigma. I'm a stigma because people are like, is he going to work out today? Yeah. I'm like, ugh. Even on days I don't want to work out, I end up doing a workout with him, which is great. Like I love it. But he was kind of looking at me and I said, what? So we're going to work out? It's like, yeah, do you want to do a workout? What do you want to do? And then I'll ask him like, you come up with a workout today. What do you want to do? And rarely do they come up with it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
They're like, I'd like to do 10 push-ups and then go sit on the couch.
Yes. Well, something kind of just came over me. I was like, all right, I got an idea.
Uh-oh.
So the station has a big backyard. It's one lap is a half mile around the back. It's pretty good size. Yard. Yeah. And I said, all right, I got an idea. You're going to pick up your burden, and it's a 45-pound plate, and you're going to carry it over your head, arms extended, as far as you can. So you're just going to carry the plate. You can run, you can walk, you can do whatever, but you're going to carry that plate as far as you can. And then when you have to put it down, you put it down. You run back to where we started, and then you do 10 burpees with a push-up and a jump. I'll make that clear. People think burpees
are
an up-down.
Yeah, no.
No, burpees are a full push-up, basically a mountain climber, and then you're jumping up, and then you jump, like off the ground.
Your feet leave the ground.
Yes, your feet need to leave the ground.
And your arms go up in the air.
And your arms go up in the air. So that's a burpee. So we do 10 burpees, and then you go back to your plate, and then you continue until you finish the full lap. He's like, and so I told him that, and he's like, ooh. And then he got nervous. I said, well, are you scared? He's like, no, I mean, yeah. He's got a real competitive spirit.
I was just looking for something a little more modest.
Yeah, I was like, and I also love it too when people say like, hey, you want to work out? Yeah, I was thinking about hitting chest today. Like, so you want to wear your Crocs and do flat bench?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cute. What that is.
That's cute.
That's cute. Like, how is that challenging you? I'm not saying like I still do strength stuff, but like I like to do team building stuff, like stuff that's gonna.
You're a fan of HIIT workouts too. Were you doing that workout with the 45-pound plate in gear? Or
no, this
gear?
one was not in gear.
Okay.
I will do that one in gear eventually, but it was later. Yeah. Well, that's not really an excuse, but like it was getting late, and this is also an excuse, but we were kind of short for time, and it would have taken a lot longer to do it in gear and stuff, and we had to get some other things done. So we had like a 30-minute block to get this knocked out. So we did it out of gear. And he took off running. He got way ahead of me. And Will was reluctant to do it. And he didn't want to do it. And he's like, okay, I'll be honest with you, Nate. I'm not going to do this workout. I said, that's cool, buddy. You don't have to do it. And he said, well, but I'll do the running and burpees with you. I said, cool, man. Perfect.
You're doing most of it.
You're doing most of it, yeah. But he got out there, but he's not one to like go out there and do that, but he's becoming that, which is really cool to see. Like,
that's awesome.
So
I
this workout,
funny. It's like you're gonna do most of it. Just do it all, or at least attempt it,
right?
So you don't fit it.
Exactly. So, but he got after it, man. He got out there and he actually ended up running a lot.
Yeah.
Because when I took off, the new guy took way off, and he thought he was being slick, And then Will kind of looked back at me because I was a good ways behind him, and he put that plate down, and I looked at Will. I said, "Just what I needed." And he runs back, and I go like an extra, almost 300 yards past his plate. I said, "Oh, I got him now." And then he was trying to play catch up, because he didn't let his mind kick in at all. So anyway, we get around, and what's crazy is the longest leg that he kept the plate over his head was the last leg. Why? It's like the old saying about the horses. When the horses turn to come home, they run faster.
Yep.
Like, that was it. So then it was like a perfect lesson of you just like, you maybe went 100 yards your first one, then like 50 and 75, and then your last one you did like 500. It was a long ways on his last one. I said, dude, your last leg was the longest. You're capable, yeah. But he's a lot younger than me.
Yeah.
Like a lot younger. I smoked him. I got him.
The old bull.
Yeah, I'm not even that old. But if you're listening to this, new guy, next time I come up there, I fully expect you to try to beat me. So
notice he said try.
But Will got the short end of that stick because he ended up having to run my legs. And then when I was done, we went back and joined the new guy. And then we ran his legs with him as well.
Oh, yeah.
So Will got a lot of burpees and a lot of running. So he did a fair workout for sure.
So you were holding the 45-pound plate over your head?
Yep. The rule was if it touched your head, or if any of the plate touched your head or your elbows went below the 90-degree mark, you had to put it down.
I feel like maybe I'm overly confident, but I feel like I could walk for longer than a few hundred yards with the 45-pound plate.
It gets
run.
It gets tough. It really does. Like, I thought that I could make the whole half-mile lap.
Yeah.
I really did. Like,
kind of where I'm at. I'm like,
but
at least a half.
I made a quarter mile.
Yeah.
I made on my first one. And then my second one was half of that. So we're on 200 meters.
Yeah.
And then I finished on the other 200 meters-ish, ballpark. But yeah, it's a good one. It's a really good one. And then the other shifts got involved. They went out and did it.
That's cool.
They didn't beat my time, but they did it, which is fantastic. But that other crew, I had another challenge that I put up was doing 1,000 push-ups in 12 hours. And they crushed it, dude. They did 1,000 in 8 hours.
As a team or individually?
Individually.
That's cool.
1,000 push-ups and in 12 hours was what I had done, and then I challenged. Nobody bit the challenge.
You did 1,000 push-ups?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah, thanks. Flat chest. I got a chest of a 14-year-old, Ryan says.
I give you a hard time about your chest. You need to do some like incline bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that flat bench.
Not that flat bench.
That leads to a flat chest.
If I do weights, I do the dumbbell press. Yeah.
You said do.
I do.
Children.
But yeah, so I love those team workouts like that.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Especially at the firehouse because it gets competitive.
Yeah. Every time you talk about your fun stuff at the firehouse, I miss my guys not having a physically active team environment. Is after having one is a little sad.
Yeah, I understand.
Just miss them.
Yeah, I know.
But it's good. That makes for better memories looking back. You remember all the good things and not all the times that you almost killed each other.
You guys ever get creative with your workouts?
Yeah, I mean, not super creative. You've probably heard of a lot of them before, but like we would do underwater soccer or underwater, what do we call it? I don't know. We would use bricks underwater.
Oh, nice.
In a pool. We had some bricks that were like coated in, I don't know. it was like a rubberized coating on these bricks. It reminds me of that Flex Seal.
Flex Seal.
Like
Flex
the
Seal will
old
stop any
commercials.
leak.
Yeah. Underwater, we'll patch a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of that.
The
Like
biggest
like somebody had
scam.
sprayed a brick with that stuff.
So it's like rubberized almost. Yeah.
And black. And anyways, we'd throw it in the pool in the middle, and then half the shop would be on one side, half the guys would be on the other side, and we push off the wall and go for the brick, and then whoever gets it, you're trying to. It was more like doing like laterals.
Yeah.
Not like football. You can't throw it forward really, but you're like more of a pass off to somebody next to you, and then they try and swim with it. And it was all just physical though. It's not like flag football or like tag each other. It's like you got to physically stop somebody under the water, and they're going to have to come up for air eventually. So if you can just hold them still long enough, they're going to have to pass it inevitably. But and
fins
then you try
or no
and get
fins?
it to the other side. Most of the time we would do that with no fins.
No fins?
Yeah, I don't know if we ever did it with fins. Yeah, no fins.
Okay.
We played water polo occasionally, and we had the little torpedoes.
Yeah.
Little like kids' toys. We would play that same kind of game, but with the little kids' toys.
So
those you could throw forward.
Of grown men in a pool.
Yeah, with their mask and snorkels playing with torpedoes. Yeah,
that's cool.
They're children, like I said, big children,
big kids.
Yeah, it was fun though. So we did a lot of underwater fun stuff like that. We played ultimate frisbee as a shop, like once a week maybe, sometimes more.
Okay.
That was on land, and that was just fun.
Probably a stupid question.
Yeah.
But does an aircraft carrier have a pool in it, or did you guys just like?
No. Like all these fun things happened when we were not on the ship.
Okay. I didn't know if it had like a 2-lane pool or something for guys to PT or something.
No. We got the only water on an aircraft carrier is around
what it's in.
Yep.
That was probably a dumb question, but
no, you're good. I wish they had a pool. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But then you gotta have somebody to maintain it, and
that's true.
They have a hard enough time with the gym equipment on the carrier.
Really?
Oh yeah, and most of the carriers they don't plan, or they didn't used to. I think the newer carriers they're getting better about it with modern thought process behind things. But they didn't plan for gyms on older carriers.
Okay.
So literally your carrier might have a gym that was stuffed in what probably should have been a closet.
Oh.
Like
for the whole ship?
Yeah. Well, they would, on the carriers, you'd have multiple gyms.
Okay.
Like, oh, you want to go to the forward gym or the aft gym? But both of them were equally small or awkward. Like the one on the aft the ship, the back, on one of the carriers I was on, the back wall was slanted because it was the back of the ship. It was like, if you looked at the ceiling, you had 30 feet, but on the floor, you only had 20 feet because the back wall slanted in.
Goodness.
And it was like, well, this was not well thought out. That was the thing. The gyms were just not well thought out.
Yeah.
They weren't, the ships weren't designed with that in mind. They're warfighting ships, not fitness ships.
Sure. But it's important for the sailors to.
It is, and I think that's something they're getting better at thinking about. Like the last carrier I was on was the newest carrier in the fleet, the USS Gerald R. Ford, and the gyms on that ship were the biggest that I've seen, and they were still, I don't want to say squeezed in, but they were like put where they could fit them.
Yeah.
But it looked like they actually put some thought into it, and was like, this is a big enough space for 5 treadmills and some what's the machine with the
cables machine?
Cables, yeah, cable machine. Thank you. A Smith machine, is that it?
Oh, Smith would be the bar that's guided.
Yeah, okay, whatever. We had cable machine, Smith machine. Anyways, the space was big enough that when you walked in there, you're like, oh, okay, they like planned on this.
Yeah.
The other ones were like, we got a treadmill right next to the squat rack, right next to an I-beam with a bar welded to it that you're supposed to do pull-ups on.
Oh, wow.
You're like, what is this?
Yeah. Kind of just thrown together.
Yeah, just thrown together. And they'd have a couple of them because we had so many people, but it was not great.
That's fine.
Anyways, all that to say, no, we didn't have swimming pools. It just wasn't feasible.
Yeah.
But we weren't on the ship all the time. You're only on the ship when you're deployed or if you're out doing deployment training.
Mm-hmm.
We called them like workups and things like that where you're leading up to a deployment, or if you're, say, all the jet guys have to go practice their carrier landings.
Yeah.
Then the ship would go out to sea for 2 weeks, and everybody would embark on the ship. The jet guys would get to fly from Virginia and fly onto the ship, practice all their landings.
Reps,
they'd stay on the ship. Everybody gets some sea time and just practice being on the ship again, and then we go back home.
Okay.
Just kind of keeping everybody refreshed on shipboard procedures and everything. And so, unless you were doing that, or your 6 to 9 month long deployment, then you were shore-based asset most of the time.
Okay.
So I was stationed in Jacksonville, Florida, and the base that I was on there, we had like 4 or 5 other helicopter squadrons that did the same thing I did. So at any time, there was 3 or 4 squadrons home, and 1 or 2 were deployed.
Okay.
So there was a pool on base, and we would go train it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What was your longest deployment on a ship?
I'm like a fake sailor, dude.
That's not true.
This is a sore subject for me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, no, just I didn't get to do a full deployment.
Oh, really?
I checked into my command right after they got back from a deployment.
Yeah.
And then I checked out of my command right before they went on a full deployment.
Oh, no.
COVID happened in there somewhere, and that
see.
delayed some things. But regardless, I don't think I would have caught the full deployment on the end of my time.
Yeah.
But I would have gotten a portion of it. So yeah, I didn't do a full deployment. The longest time I was on a ship, I think, was about 30 days all at once.
Okay.
I have, I don't know, 90 or I don't know. I have quite a few days of sea time, but they were all broken up in mostly 2-week stints. I think I did 1 or 2 that were longer than that.
Okay.
I think 1 was 3 weeks, and then 1 was a month or maybe just over a month long.
Okay.
That one, I got to go to Halifax, Canada.
Nice.
Which was really nice.
That
Yeah.
is cool.
We were actually supposed to go way farther than that. It was going to be a longer trip. I think it was supposed to be 45 days long.
Okay.
We were going to leave Mayport, Florida. This one was on a small boy, not an aircraft carrier.
Okay.
So we were on a little cruiser ship, a guided missile cruiser. Leave Mayport, Florida, go up to Halifax, Canada, and then traverse the North Atlantic, which is known for having really big waves and being kind of rougher seas, which I was stoked about. I don't get seasick, so I was really looking forward to
seeing what the ship could handle.
Riding some waves. Yeah. My dad was in the Navy, and he had told me stories about how in rough seas, he was in the engine room. I don't remember exactly what his rate was called because they don't have it anymore. But a machinist mate. That's what it used to be. Essentially, he worked on the steam engines in the engine room. Anyways, down there in the bottom of the ship, typically you feel the waves and stuff less.
Yeah.
Whereas up higher, you would feel them more.
Sure.
Just based on, physics.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But he told me stories about how the waves were so bad when at some point that they were sitting on trash can lids, sliding back and forth across the ship.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I was pumped about that. I was like, I'm not going to be down in the engine room. I want to be way up higher near the flight deck.
Yeah.
If we go through some really big seas, this is going to be a blast.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I experienced some heavier seas while I was out on other stuff, but nothing that crazy.
Sure.
Anyways, North Atlantic is where we were supposed to go. We were going to stop in Iceland. I was pumped about that too.
Yeah.
I was going to get to see the Northern Lights.
Oh, yeah.
At least I was hoping. And then we were going to go on to Norway and do a big international training evolution over there.
Cool.
It would have been really cool. All of that stopped in Halifax, though.
Oh.
Actually, we almost didn't make it to Halifax.
Really?
Yeah. Our ship got a hole in the hull of the ship.
Well, that's... I don't know much about ships. So that's not good.
Yeah. You're not supposed to have holes.
No.
It was a hole like the size of a Gatorade bottle, I think. I don't know what happened exactly, but we developed a hole in the side of the ship under the waterline. And it wasn't like it was going to sink the ship or anything. It was actually in a space that was adjoining. In the bottom of the ship, we actually hold water and fuel all the time.
Yeah.
That's what helps keep the ballast full and keep the ship from tipping over. So where the hole was actually adjoining a room that had the water and fuel in it. So they were worried about more water getting into the fuel and disrupting that because the ship ran on fuel. The fuel was also for the helicopter, and it would have been a big problem. Not to mention just a hole in the side of the ship is not good, but the placement of it was extra not good. And then the thought of going through the North Atlantic with heavy seas was really, really not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to get bigger
It's a
and
hole
worse.
gonna get bigger, yeah.
Yeah. So we made it to Halifax, pulled in there, and then we were in port in Halifax for, I think, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks.
Patched it.
Yeah, while they did some emergency repairs on it. And following that, we had to go back down to Yorktown, Virginia, and offload all of our munitions, which was a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
Because we weren't able to fly the helicopters at that point, we were turned into grunts. I remember moving the 5-inch projectiles. They're 5 inches around and like, I don't know, 18 inches long, and they weigh like 70 pounds each. Moving those.
So you're moving bombs.
Yeah, they're not bombs. Like they're just big hunks of lead and projectile.
Yeah.
The I think of a rifle round. It's the bullet part, not the casing with the powder and everything. So yeah, just the bullet itself. But these giant things. Anyways, we were moving those out of the bottom of the ship and up to the surface so that they could get craned off the ship, and the ship was getting de-armed essentially so that it could go in for repairs, real repairs. But yeah, Halifax was great. We got to stay there for, I think we were originally supposed to be there for 4 days, and then it turned into like almost 2 weeks.
Okay.
I ended up having enough time to get a tattoo and do a lot of sightseeing.
You're on vacation.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
The hole in the ship was also right next to our female berthing in the ship. And so all the females, because of how they had to do the repair, I guess there was fumes or something, all the females had to leave their berthing, and there's nowhere else on the ship for them to sleep. So they all got put up in a freaking hotel out in town in Halifax. But Halifax is, I guess, expensive and smallish, and there wasn't a hotel very close by. So they actually got put up like 45 minutes away, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So all these girls were in a hotel, not on the ship, 45 minutes away, but they still wanted them to stay on duty and like do their job. So we, as aircrew, again, we couldn't fly because the helicopter was useless. We're sitting in port getting repaired. We got turned into Uber drivers, essentially. They rented cars, and our duty was to take shifts of driving girls from the ship to their hotel, and we'd pick up new girls and bring them back. And yeah, we just drove back and forth for the whole day. Yeah.
They rented cars?
Yeah, the Navy rented cars so that we could do that. We didn't do it for the whole day. We would do this at like shift change times.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And we were on rotation ourselves. So like two of our guys would drive and go get them, come back, and the other guys would be on vacation out getting tattoos and stuff.
I'm thinking like I'm in taking one of those incident command classes right now. So I'm thinking about like the admin staff sitting in their office.
Oh my gosh.
Drinking coffee in their nice white uniforms, thinking like, man, we got to put these girls up somewhere. Oh, hey, look, here's a hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one looks nice.
Oh, no, I guarantee you it was like, look at all these hotels. This one's $300 a night, $350, $250. Hey, here's one for $100 a night. That's the one.
That's the one.
And they didn't consider at any point in time where it's at.
Yeah. So now, they're 45 minutes away. And then one guy, the smart guy in the room goes, how are we going to get them back to the ship? Dang it, man. I just booked it.
Yeah.
Well, we got a bunch of rescue swimmers that aren't doing anything.
I guess we'll rent some cars. So it would have been cheaper just to rent the one closer. Maybe.
Probably. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I mean, we weren't doing anything either, so I guess it was like, well, it'll give them something to do.
Yeah.
They can drive.
They can drive the girls. It'll teach them something. I can just see them sitting there right there, stuffing their faces in wherever they sit on the ship and talking about it. Like
the whole thing was just a crap show and like thrown together piece by piece. It was probably just like that. They're like, well, we got to do something. And then this, and then, well, they can't just sit at the hotel all day. They got to come to work. Okay, well, how are we going to get them to work? Well, these guys can do it.
Yeah. But, and then like the legality of it, I'm sure, then you got somebody's like, man, we got to fill out, like an ICS be like 8214s. Oh man. Yeah, I guess you're right. Cause they, whatever the form
I had
would be.
So many questions. I'm like, am I allowed to drive this rental vehicle? They're like, yeah, you're fine. Like, is my name on it? Well, no, but somebody is. They're like, is my license good in Canada? I don't know.
I don't know, man. You'll be all right.
Yeah, don't get pulled over. That's the response I got.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And to top it off, not only were they 45 minutes away, but there was a toll bridge that we had to go over. And nobody knew this, of course, because why would we look into things ahead of time? And so we drive them, go across this toll bridge, and we're like, oh, crap, you got to have like exact change. All I have is American money. I don't know. I don't know what to do with
money.
This. And it's my money. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we figured out the first time, have to come through the toll bridge again to get them back, get back to the ship. And we go to our chiefs and we're like, this is what's going on. What are we supposed to do about this? And they're like, well, you're just going to have to pay it. And so we do it again. And like the second or third time, we're looking at each other going, listen, dude, I'm not making very much money. I'm just a little E4, E5, whatever. This is dumb. And we're like, you know what? We're just going to start going through. You know, they'll bill the license plate, I guess. It works like it does in America. They're going to toll by plate. And eventually it'll either get back to the rental company or the Navy. Somebody else will pay it. But I'm done paying it. Yeah. So we just started blowing through the toll booth.
Who was the president at the time?
I don't know. Let me think.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of when it was.
I was just gonna say, oh, Daddy Trump's credit card.
Yeah, it might have been. No, it might have been
first.
I want to say it was 2017 or 18.
Okay, so that would have been.
That would have been Trump.
That would have been Trump's first term. Yeah.
Yeah, because I missed my daughter's birthday while I was on that trip.
Well, you said like COVID and stuff like that, so that
would it was before COVID.
Okay, so yeah, that was probably Trump's administration, first administration.
Yeah,
yeah. Just Daddy Trump will
Trump's
get his credit card. He'll take care of you. That's awesome. I can just see the logistical nightmare.
Oh, the whole thing was, and then in the military, I'm probably with you guys too. There's per diem to factor in, and like these girls are staying in hotels that's paid for, but do they get per diem, or do you expect them to come back to the ship for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day? How does that work?
Yeah,
like they ended up getting per diem, but they tried to get really nitty gritty with it and be like, well, you only get per diem for the meals that you're not on duty at the ship because you can eat at the ship. And I was like, how are you going to keep track of all this?
So you guys stayed on the ship?
Yeah, all the guys, and we were all stuck on the boat. Which was fun. Honestly, it would have been way more frustrating to do that.
Yeah.
What they all had to do. But yeah, they were all living it up in a hotel, ordering, Panda Express and whatever.
Right.
Every night. And we're eating chow on the ship.
Nice.
Not really. We were eating on the ship, but we were also in port in Halifax, and you could walk from the port to downtown Halifax where there was pubs and
whatever
eateries. Yeah, there was all sorts of stuff there. So when we weren't on duty and it wasn't during the workday, we were able to go out on liberty, they call it.
Sure, yeah.
And go actually explore and have fun.
Okay.
So
that's pretty cool.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change that for anything. But yeah, that's my one overseas story that I've got, because that's the only overseas I got to go to except for the Bahamas, where I went multiple times for training.
Yeah.
We have a base down there that we do training on. That base is exactly 1 square mile big.
Okay.
Or small, however you want to say that.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's tiny. But that one, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, the only time I ever left country was once. Well, no, that's true. We just got back from Mexico. But
yeah, you just came back from outside the country.
Yeah, Mexico was really cool.
But you just went to one point and came right back?
Yep.
You didn't really...
Cancun and back. Yeah. It felt like flying into third world. Well, it was a third world country, but I mean, it is a third world country, but like, it was a little sketchy coming in. There's like a bunch of broken airplanes on the runway and stuff.
Oh,
and you're walking in there. Like,
hopefully not the one you're on.
Yeah, no, but I'm pretty sure it was like a graveyard for parts. So a plane gets stuck there. They got parts. Lauren saw it, and I said, "Oh no, that's a good thing. It means they got extra parts here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It means we'll definitely make it home.
There's not a supply chain issue in Mexico. They got all the broken planes.
They're right there at the airport.
They're right there.
Honestly, that's the best place to keep them.
Yeah, for real.
I mean,
there's just like a bunch of old broken down planes and hangars, and there was like, you could tell motors missing off one. So
our airplane graveyards are all out in like Arizona and New Mexico.
Okay.
Out in the dry desert.
Yeah.
So they're just baking in the sun, but there's no humidity, so they'll last for years.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this episode is really just story time with Nate and Ryan. So
here we are
late at night. We're just telling stories. So,
yeah.
But just kind of catching up and hearing some more of who we are. This is kind of like an ad lib episode for us at the Suffer Up podcast. But
I got a question to spark a story.
What's
you
up?
Probably have stories lined up for this already, but I'm gonna ask. We talk a lot on here about the good things that a man should be and that Christians should be. Do you have a story that is appropriate, that is of a time when you were not so good?
When I was not so good?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I got a lot of those.
I think we all do.
Oh, man. Obviously, like, if you go back and listen to episode 6, like, I went through a pretty kind of rough patch of my life there.
Yeah. How about narrow this down? Like a fun story.
A fun story?
Like, you look back and you're like, I was not doing the right thing then, but I got a good story out of it.
Okay, so like firehouse pranks. So in the fire service, there's always pranks, right? And so like I'm a new guy at Station 12, back at my old department and everything. And if I was still employed there, I might get in trouble by telling this story, but it is a good story. And, it's always like there's a couple of areas of the firehouse that you're naturally vulnerable. Usually when you're sitting on the toilet or at the urinal or if you're in the shower or sleeping. I guess there's 3 like key areas where, so I actually have.
You're like defenseless.
You're defenseless, yeah. So I actually have like 2 stories, but I'll just tell the one for right now. But the first one was when I was on the ambulance that shift and we were just slammed busy. Finally got a chance to lay down in my bed, got nestled up in my bed, fell asleep. To this day, I can fall asleep like that. I mean, Lauren doesn't understand how. It's because when you don't sleep or don't get a chance to sleep, you learn how to sleep pretty quick.
Yeah.
There's no wind down process. Like when I'm ready to sleep, I close my eyes, I go to sleep. Like it's that simple. So I curl up in bed. I'm sound asleep. The ladder truck is still up watching movies and, they're in their snuggie jammies, kicked up in the recliner.
They haven't had to work today.
Yeah, stuff in their faces, being typical truckies. And anyway,
shots fired.
Yeah. So, and I rode the truck too. So there were days I was a truckie too, and I fully enjoyed it. So anyway, they, I can already hear what they said. They're like, "Oh, Nate's in the bed. What should we do to him tonight?" And so one of the guys, it was around Halloween time. Somebody had this mask that had like nails in the mask. They were like rubber nails, but it was like a
scary mask.
Yeah, scary type mask for Halloween. Anyway, Kevin, my buddy, had it on, and they decided to sneak into my bunk, and he just basically got right next to my bed and put his face inches away from mine. I'm sound asleep. I have no idea he's there. And my foot was sticking out, so my other friend, I think, tickled my leg or tickled my foot or something, grabbed my foot just enough to wake me up. And I was like, what? Did I miss a call? Like in my sleep or whatever. And I see that mask right in front of my face. I was like, oh, no. And I just reach out and I just punch him right in the face, just out of instinct. And all I hear is, oh. And I just keep wanting to fight him. I don't know what, I'm like I was just falling asleep. And then they're like, no, Nate, no, stop. And nothing turned off. I just kept trying to chase after him and didn't calm down. And then the rest of the night I didn't sleep. But I wanted to sleep, but I couldn't. I'm like, what are they going to do to me next? So that was a pretty funny story. I legitimately punched a dude in the face. But yeah, I mean, there's firehouse pranks are great. And there was always kind of like an understood rule. You don't ever mess with your gear.
Yeah.
That was a rule. You don't ever mess with gear.
Could be serious.
That's a safety thing. But we had a lot of fun. We would, one day, we got a new lieutenant in the station, and pretty sure it was his bunk that we did this to. But he was acting a fool or whatever, and we took all the tires that we used to work out and we rolled them into his bunk and filled his whole bunk up with tires. So then we went to go get into bed. Another one that we would do for pranks would be the ambulance would be gone, and then we would move their whole bed out to the bay.
Yeah,
that's a classic. So their bed would literally be made in the bay for them to sleep in. And it's funny too because you can kind of see how people react to those jokes, stories. But man, we were ruthless.
Yeah,
One more, like this one's actually a really good story. We were in the bay washing the truck, or we were sitting in the day room. I was on the ladder truck that day, and I heard water hit the bay floor. And I'm like, oh, somebody's washing the truck. So naturally, I get up to go figure out, who's washing the truck. Well, it's Chief. Chief's out there washing his battalion buggy. And we don't typically let Chiefs wash the buggy.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, we went over there, and I said, Chief, man, let me take that nozzle from you. He's like, no, you're not going to take my nozzle. He's a retired Marine, and he got a marble in his lips, and he's, old salt dog, and he would not give me the hose. Well, then I had a wild hair, and I said, I'm going to get that hose from him. And he's in like white uniform. This is his chief, but like this is the environment that I was in. It was like you had to almost like prove yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to get that hose from him. Well, he kind of turned to kind of pull the hose back to kind of get it around one of the tires. So he had it in one hand.
Yeah.
And I went for it. And I grabbed a hold of that hose, and he was a strong guy, really strong guy. And I got a hold of it, and I kind of like positioned myself in front of him, and he's started yelling at me, cussing at me, or whatever. And so I said, no, Chief, give me that nozzle. And he wouldn't give it to me. Before we know it, we're on the ground, like legitimately wrestling. The hose is still flowing. There's no like it's still flowing. We're getting soaked. He's getting soaked. Then he's on top of me or whatever, and then he's like got my arm locked up, and I'm not. I ain't got no quit in me. I'm gonna win this or whatever. Finally get the nozzle. He reaches over, grabs my shirt, and just like grabs me and throws me across the bay. And when he did, my whole shirt ripped in half. It was like something off WWE. And in his hand was the company patch from my shirt.
Yeah.
And he had like the whole thing like this, and he's soaked head to toe. And he had a cigarette in his mouth, and
cigarettes out. Now he's really pissed.
Yeah, cigarettes out. He's upset or whatever. And then he just kind of goes, just laughs, goes in his bay. That next morning, I go in. He has my shirt, like the emblem, cut out, and it's like the emblem. And I say, "You really gonna keep that?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep this.
I earned it.
I earned this."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's good times, man. But that same chief, sorry, I'm on like a lot of memories are flooding back.
Yeah, it's funny once you start like thinking back.
Yeah,
like, oh man, I remember so much good stuff.
Yeah, and I don't want to like sit here and hug the mic, but this is okay. So we always try to leave a lesson, right, with every episode. I know this is like a lighthearted one, but I'm gonna leave a lesson with this story.
Okay,
this is a lesson that
boo,
yeah. So
Teacher Nate.
Yeah. So we gotta leave our listeners with something. So
yeah, give them a little breadcrumb,
little something. So, and I guess I would title the lesson of "Be careful of your audience." Okay. So we're a brand new guy sitting at the table. One of the drivers shows me a picture of two dudes kissing at the Olympics, two skiers or whatever. And I made the comment, there's a gay couple, and I made the comment of like, man, why can't they just keep that to themselves? That's what I said. And, Mark was like, yeah, I know, whatever. Like, it was just kind of like a trivial comment. Well, then the conversation kind of stopped, and then Chief, the same Chief, sitting at the end of the table, and he says, my daughter's gay. He said, what's wrong with being gay? I said, well, I mean, nothing's like, I mean, there's some things wrong with it, obviously, like the way we believe, what the Bible says, like same-sex marriage is wrong or whatever. But, like, I just wish that, like, if that's your business, that's how you decide to conduct your life, then just keep it to yourself. Like, I don't flaunt my sexuality as a single guy, it is what it is. And it was just kind of like that. And then he's like, well, my daughter's gay. Well, what I said was, okay, what I meant to say was, oh, I'm sorry, like, for like being apologetic for the comment that I just made. He took it as, I'm sorry, which is not what I meant.
So you said I'm sorry when he said his daughter's gay, and he's like, what?
What? Yeah, I meant like, oh, I'm sorry for my comments earlier.
I'm sorry your daughter's gay.
Yeah. He took it as, oh, I'm sorry, as though like the daughter's gay or whatever. So then he takes his whole plate and throws the whole plate, fork, knife, everything. It was at the breakfast table. Throws it in the trash can as it sits. He just made his plate. Throws it in the trash can. and is reaching for a cigarette out of his pocket as he walks out of the station dining room. We're all sitting there speechless. I look over at everybody. I said, "Is this daughter gay?" And they're like, "I don't know, man. He hasn't mentioned anything about it." So then we're all like, talking like, "Oh no!"
Everybody's sitting there going, "What have I said in the past?"
Yes, what have I said in the past?
Worried.
Is this maybe his daughter just came out? Like we didn't know. So then he leaves. My phone starts blowing up of like senior guys in the department. I can't believe that you talked to Chief that way. Like, our daughters play softball together, and you're a worthless piece of crap, Nate. Like,
wait, his daughter plays softball?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gay.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I know. Yeah.
My mom plays softball.
Yeah, especially church league softball, dude. I can get down with some church league.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Firefighter and softball, those go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do.
You guys are required to play softball.
The big thing right now is
you guys are all gay. What? I'm kidding. What'd you do? Nate broke his mic. He's too loud. We'll get him back, guys. Don't worry. Turn it off and back on again. That always works. You have to leave this in. Nope, you're still out. Did it come unplugged?
Hello. Oh, there
you are.
Okay.
Okay, you got to leave that in.
Yeah, I will. I'll leave it in there. We had technical difficulties on the microphone, probably because I was laughing so loud. Wow. Where was I? Yeah, so we were pickleball's the sport now.
Pickleball.
Yeah, pickleball's the big thing.
We'd only go back to where we were.
Yeah. So anyway, he leaves, and I get phone calls. Everybody's giving me a bad rap, bad time. Well, I'm scared. I'm brand new, and I'm fearful that I'm gonna lose my job.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at. So I go in my bunk, and I write an apology letter because my mama said, name that movie.
Right, I'm sorry 1,000 times.
My mama says the high quality H2O. To write, apology letters, like, they mean more. So I wrote an apology letter about explaining my actions and that I didn't mean what I said and everything else. He comes back around like 4:00, right before supper. We're cleaning up, and I give him the apology note. He crumples up that apology note in front of me and throws it in the trash can.
Never read it.
Never read it. So then I was like, and I explained myself, and he says, "All right," and that was it. So then, we eat dinner. He doesn't eat dinner with us. He brought dinner back from wherever he went, and he was eating dinner in his office. So I said, "All right, I think I'm just gonna go to bed." So I go to bed. He comes in the bunk room. Borschel. Yes, sir. Office now. It's like, oh, here we go. I'm getting fired. This is not good. So I go in the office. He slams the door. Proceeds to, like, I cannot believe that you said that at the breakfast table. A lot of choice words that I'm not going to repeat. Like, a really good butt chewing. Like,
yeah.
And I'm standing there at almost attention and just listening, taking it. And I'm just nodding, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And he slips in there amidst his dog cussing banter. And my daughter's not gay. and then he kept cussing me. And then he stops. And I said, wait, did you just say your daughter's not gay? He's like, Nate, have a seat. And I'm like, I'm so confused. And he says, Nate, you have a tendency to open up your mouth. And you have a tendency to say things that you don't need to be saying. All I'm going to say is know your audience. Because one day you'll say something, and it will cost you either your reputation or your job. And I don't want that to you. I care about you, and I want you to do well. You need to watch what you say. And I said, sir, there's no better way for me to learn a lesson than this right here. And he said, oh, and by the way, I read your apology note, and I'm going to keep it forever. And I was like, no, like, I can. He goes, nope. I've honestly never had anybody write me an apology letter ever. And I'm going to keep it. Come to find out, after he retired, I talked to him a few years later.
He frame it?
He still has the letter. I don't know if he framed it, but he still has that letter.
That's awesome. So
that's the lesson here, guys. Just always know your audience. And what I said was not out of love. So yeah, that's my lesson.
I've been on the end of a very similar situation. Yeah. I posted something one time. We had a group me is what we used for our aircrew shop, and our chief put out some information on there, and I typed out a response back like I was talking to one of my buddies on there.
Yeah.
And it went to the whole shop, in response to what he said. Nobody else commented after that. Like, people were just hearting what he said and just leaving what I said.
Yeah.
And I got back and same thing. Hey, Balmer, let's go have a chat.
Yeah.
Roger that, Chief. The whole flight back after I saw that nobody like said anything about what I said. Like, I said what everyone was thinking.
Yeah, right.
But I should have just let everybody think it and not say it out loud.
Yeah.
And the whole flight back, because I was like in the middle of my flight, I think, or had like just taken off or something, like checked my phone to put it on airplane mode, and I saw this group meeting. I was like, oh, come on, like whatever it was, I was like, this is bull crap, and like, why are we doing this? And I just typed those thoughts, sent it, and then nothing. And later on in the flight, I checked, I was like, nobody's saying anything. Okay, this isn't good. Actually, I might have gotten a text from Chief while I was in flight saying like, come see me when you land.
Oh.
And like, he was supposed to go home, so like he stayed to talk to me, and I got back and had to talk to him, and he basically chewed me out. It was very similar. Like, he chewed me out and then went on to say very calmly, you're not wrong for like saying what you said or like asking the question, but an order's an order, number one. Number two, if you've got a concern or question like that, bring it up to me personally.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to explain to you why. And he's like, if you want to be the chief, you can be the effing chief. This was part of the butt shit. He's like, if you want to be the chief, you can be the effing chief. You go back in there and you lead the shop. And I was like, I mean, that's a big responsibility, but I'll try. And he's like, shut the... I'm like,
you're not supposed to say that.
I'm like, I see what you're getting at, Chief. I just shut up.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't the best student or listener.
But sometimes,
like you said, that is the best lesson. And I'll never forget that.
Yep.
And it's weird, but like in the midst of that, I feel like a little bit of mutual respect was gained.
Yeah.
Like, he gained a little bit of respect for me that like, this guy's an idiot, but the ball's on this dude to say this and just take it.
Yeah.
And then how I handled the situation when he yelled at me, how you handled the situation when your chief yelled at you, and like, this is the best lesson I could learn.
Yeah.
Or the best way I could learn this. They build a little respect for you, and because you're building the respect for them, going, I understand, Chief. Like, lesson learned.
Yep.
And I respect that.
Yeah. And that's your reaction to those situations are utmost importance for sure. But yeah, that's hilarious. Like, but I'm thankful for mentors like that.
Yeah.
That will give you that tough love and
and
teach you that lesson. Because sometimes when you're young and ignorant, or you don't have to be young, you could just be ignorant, and you don't see kind of how you're coming across to other people, kind of helps you put yourselves in their shoes for a minute, you know.
And sometimes people give you that tough love because they have to.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, in that case, our chief's mess was right next door to our aircrew shop.
Yeah.
Like, we shared a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody was getting yelled at in the chief's mess, you could always hear it in the aircrew shop. So everybody, that was the thing. The chief put out that everyone had to stay back till I got back from my flight. I wasn't landing that much later than everyone was going to be there, but like, everyone had to wait around for me, and Chief waited around for me. And then he took me into the chief's mess right next door and screamed at me. So everybody in the aircrew shop could hear me getting screamed
Balmer's
at.
getting it, boys.
Oh yeah. And then he talked to me, and then we both come back in the shop, and everybody's just looking at me like, dude, you messed up.
Yeah.
And
well,
then,
the group punishment's always good.
Yeah. Well, and then after the fact, I'm getting the people pat me on the back going like, yeah, I know you said what we were all thinking, but maybe next time don't.
Yeah, maybe next time. Yeah. Thanks for taking one for the team, but
yeah,
probably not the best way to handle that situation.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Dude, just shut up and do what you're told.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It's much easier said than done.
Yeah. And now I preach that to my daughter occasionally. I'm like, hey, what you're being told, is it dangerous? No. Is it harmful in any way to you or anyone else? No. Okay, can you just do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Please.
Right. So much easier that way.
Yeah.
I watched the whole recruit class, the class ahead of us.
Yeah.
They were out there holding front lean, like push-up position from after flag duty till lunch. They were released for lunch and came back and held front lean again.
Oh God,
all day. And
Jeez.
the day 2, they went back and did the same exact thing. And they were trying. Apparently, somebody scratched in the burn building like some profane thing about one of the instructors.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they were trying to figure out who it was. Well, nobody would crack. Nobody would admit to anything. Yeah, they all stuck to their guns and just took the punishment. Nobody.
That one person's
out.
a turd. I mean, good on everybody else for being a team player, but that one person's a turd.
Well, here's the catch to the story. It was a brand new EMT class, and it wasn't that class.
Oh, it was none of them?
So they got held front lean for 2 days straight, and it was nobody in that class.
Dang, gummit. I thought you were going to say it was one of the instructors or something. I was like, that's messed up.
I was in medic school, and we were getting ready to go to fire school, and we're like, ooh, man, they really messed up, boy. Look at that. They're holding front lean for 2 days straight.
So they eventually figured out who it was, and it wasn't one of them?
Correct.
Those instructors owe those guys an apology and a beer.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how, like, if they paid an apology or not, but they had some boulder shoulders at the end of that.
Yeah, they learned something those couple days.
And getting them gains.
Jeez,
but
guys, take your creatine and protein in the morning because you're gonna need it.
Can you imagine? Like, I know it's possible because I watched them do it, but front lean. I mean, obviously they have to drop a knee for a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
no
way
way get yelled at in the process.
Yeah. But, yeah, it wasn't their class. But, I mean, honestly, I'm surprised, like, a scapegoat didn't come out of that and, like, just say, I did it.
Like, come back from lunch the first day, be like, whatever, it was me.
Yeah. But at that point, you could have lost your job because they could
have
fired you for
fired.
anything. Yeah. So, like, vandalism or whatever. But, yeah. So, lessons, dude. Lessons.
Man. Forgot what I was gonna tell you about earlier. Oh, you were talking about your bunks and like playing pranks on people. Mm-hmm. On the ship we had in our berthing. The way it was set up was we had three beds high, 3 racks high, and there's an aisle in the middle, and then 3 more racks. We called it a 6-pack. You got 6 beds in this one little cubicle, basically. Top bunk is what most guys wanted because there's not a rack above you.
Yeah.
But you got to climb up into your rack. So pros and cons.
Sure.
But the other good thing that some guys liked about the top rack was, let me back up. Bottom rack and middle rack, the way that you store your clothes and everything, your storage was built into the rack. Okay. So you sleep on this mattress bed, but the rack actually opens up. Like you can lift up just under the mattress. It lifts up like a tool chest or something would, and underneath that is where you store all your stuff, all your clothes. The good thing about that is that when you're sleeping, nobody can get to your clothes or like mess with your underwear or your socks or anything because you're laying on top of them.
Yeah.
The top rack guy, their stuff was in a locker at the end of the 6-pack, at the end of that little hallway. There's a locker on top and bottom. Those were your 2 lockers for the 2 top guys on each side. So their stuff was exposed, and if they didn't put a lock on it, then people could mess with their stuff. But the reason that they did that is because you can't really reach in your rack when you're on the top rack. You're trying to reach, 7 foot up or something and look in your rack. It's not feasible. But those 2 racks on the bottom and middle, those 4 guys, they were also at risk for something else. And that was while you're sleeping, if you don't lock your rack, so you can put a padlock on it and keep people from lifting it up. But if you don't have that on, somebody strong enough or a couple of strong guys can come through, lift your rack up while you're laying on it
and roll you into
there's a little bar underneath that holds it open so that you could, get your clothes out or fold your clothes, do whatever you're doing down there. But they could pick you up, put that locking bar in, and you're kind of stuck.
Like stuck?
Like stuck until they want you to be unstuck.
Really?
Yeah. Because on the back side of your bed is another bed facing the opposite direction.
Got a Balmer sandwich.
We're stacked in there back to back. These 3 high beds are back to back, and then there's the little hallway and another row of 3 back to back with another one, and it just keeps going like that down the whole berthing. So yeah, the racks are encased, I guess I should say. Like there's a side so that you're not laying next to some other dude. There's a piece of metal there.
Yeah.
So, yes, when they lift up your rack, you are stuck in this little triangle of bed and metal, just stuck there. And
got a Balmer sandwich.
That joke got played frequently on people.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just to mess with them. Most of the time it was, just harmless. Like, we're going to do it for a minute, let you struggle, and then we'll close you up. There have been some guys that were left there, who didn't get to eat dinner maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They must have screwed up or something.
I don't know all the reasons, but there's been situations.
Yeah.
But your story about the rack made me think of that.
Perfect.
We used to mess with each other and raise the rack. And
yeah, but like if you're not a turd, people won't mess with you.
Yeah, people always mess with you. And that's like true. in our community, it wasn't just the turds got messed with, yes, absolutely. But then like your brothers that you love, you also messed with just because of that.
That is true.
There was one guy, one of the dudes crawled into a rack with someone else while they were sleeping.
Oh no!
Like just like not being weird, but like he like jumped in there with him.
Oh, I thought it was like an accident.
No, like he jumped in there with him, and then somebody else closed him up. So now there's two dudes stuck in there.
Oh my god!
And the dude who climbed in there is laughing his butt off, like joking.
Course, yeah.
I think this is all part of the joke that they planned. The guy asleep is awoken to a man laying on top of or next to him. However, they're crammed in there.
Yeah.
And then stuck, and he's just cussing up a storm, like, "What the?"
Yeah.
And just freaking out. And, very quickly, like 10 seconds of that, and they let him back out, and we're all just laughing. But just stupid, silly stuff like that would go on frequently.
Yeah.
Very frequently.
Well, when you're cooped up in a small space together for an extended period of time, the jokes will eventually come out.
Oh, yeah. And, like, everybody gets the level of silly that we get late at night, and you get 20 dudes together, and they're all that same way, and they're all alpha males. I mean, there's no telling. There's wrestling happening in there. There's jokes being played. There's people throwing cold water on each other.
Yep.
The frat house
without
the alcohol.
It sounds just like a firehouse.
Yeah.
It really does.
Good times. Good camaraderie.
Times. This is fun. We should do this every once in a while. Just do story time.
Yeah. We're only scratching the surface, I feel. We've got tons more.
A ton of stories just came out, but I think we're at an hour and something. So should probably wrap it up.
That's a long one. All right, well, story time.
Story time's over.
Ryan.
Night.
There's your bedtime story. This one's got to come out in the evening.
Yeah, we should do that. We should do like an evening release of
story time.
Story time. People that are listening.
Put it out on like Sunday evening instead of Monday morning.
Yeah, I like that. Might have to do that. So
all our Will and all the other avid listeners are gonna be like, "Where's the podcast?"
Yeah,
Monday morning.
I'm all cuddled up in bed with my Snuggie on. Where's my bedtime story? I love it.
We'll have to do this in short form and put them out more frequently.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Funny stories with Nate and Ryan. But good times, man. Good times. You can reminisce and think back and be thankful for the good times and also the lessons learned. So, thanks for tuning in, guys, to another episode of the Suffer Up Podcast with Nate and Ryan. We hope you guys have a fantastic week. And if you're listening to this at nighttime, we hope you sleep well. Sweet dreams.
We love you. Suffer up.